And then when I watched it back, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like it was all wisecracks and it wasn't prepared. It was just like when I said I play with the big boys, I had never said that before.
Yeah.
It was off the cuff. That's what got me my biggest contract. That's what made me think about writing the book. So different things that I had said to them, I'm watching back. I'm like, I can't believe they cut this. Again, like you're saying, Anna, to protect their stars. And you know what? That ruins the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Reality Court. My name is Ace Fanning. I am the host of the Sister Wives podcast. Love should be multiplied, not divided. And I am joined by the more time you spend with her, the more you like her. Anna Quincoces, former Real Housewife of Miami, but also a pain in my ass every single week. But today we are joined by a fabulous woman who hails to us from the beautiful state of New Jersey, who has caused quite a stir, as we have seen many a times on Real Housewives of New Jersey. Kim D, welcome to Reality Court.
Thank you.
Yes, we're so happy to have you. And by the way, who wants to be a shrinking violet, right? You want to cause a stir.
I just keep reinventing myself. All good
for you.
A little bit part of the villain stays inside me a little bit, It's
yeah, of course.
Kim,
that's good.
Before we get into all of our stories, I'm curious to know, what do you feel like, because you don't have control over the edit. You don't have control over the way that people are going to see you. What is it that we don't know about Kim D aside from who we met on Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Well, I can talk a little bit about some of the edits.
Okay.
The two reunions that I did, especially the last one where Teresa and I were going at it and I was going, Melissa, Teresa and I are great now. I walk off, there was a lot more said. Okay. So I walk off the stage and the head producer's there. She's like, oh my God, Kim D, you just got your own show. Now, of course, I didn't get my own show, but and then all of a sudden they play it back and I'm like, what happened to everything I said?
Oh,
do you know, everything that all the smart, cutting things that I said back, all gone. They edited it all out. Do you know what I'm saying? And it almost looks like I'm seeing they're taking their crap. Whereas I'm hitting them between the eyes. So that's something I don't back down to anything. Most of the time I'll hit back. And when I hit, when you're I'm a Sicilian Jersey girl, I'm going to hit you once, you're going to go down. You're not coming back up.
Yeah, that's same as me.
That's who I am. And you know what? I'm not worried about the repercussion. A lot of these women still on the show. Yeah. They have boyfriends, they have husbands, they have and they're always so worried about what people think. I brought myself to the show and I didn't care what the repercussions were. I really didn't. So I feel that I was authentic. And whatever you saw, that's really who I am. The only thing you didn't see is me. I have tons of dogs, love my home. I'm always decorating. But other than that, really what you saw is who I am.
Did they ever approach you about becoming a full-time housewife?
No, Andy Cohen, Teresa and Siggy go into Andy. And they're like, why can't you make Kim? Because I was a friend of Teresa's. Why can't you make Kim? He goes, I don't see Kim as a housewife. He didn't say it in a bad way. He really did. He was like, I just don't see her as a housewife. I see her as a friend of, I see her as a businesswoman on about. So I didn't take it. He's very respectful of me. He was always very kind to her, good. But that's the way a producer, he didn't see me that way.
Oh. I find that sometimes friends of make such an impression, more of an impression than sometimes the housewives.
I agree.
I see that with Jen Fessler. She's kind of like a force, and other people on Miami as well. But when they edited you, did they make you look like you were just quiet, that you didn't say certain things?
On the reunion, yeah.
Okay.
So they show me like this and quiet, and that never. The whole time I was on that stage, I was never quiet.
Okay. I'm so glad that I'm not alone, because I did a cameo last season. Harry, be quiet. I did a cameo last season where they made me look like I didn't speak at all. And Ace can attest to the fact that I never shut up.
Yeah, there's no way she wasn't talking.
Right. And so the thing is that they're protecting the cast. They want to protect the cast. You're a fly by night. You're one little moment,
Yeah.
and the cast is forever, and that's what they want to protect. And so cameos are a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
Really. And I was so shocked because again, she didn't edit. It was Lucilla D'Agostino. She doesn't edit. And she was so excited over what took place. I believed her. I really did, And then when I watched it back, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like it was all wisecracks and it wasn't prepared. It was just like when I said I play with the big boys, I had never said that before.
Yeah.
It was off the cuff. That's what got me my biggest contract. That's what made me think about writing the book. So different things that I had said to them, I'm watching back. I'm like, I can't believe they cut this. Again, like you're saying, Anna, to protect their stars. And you know what?
Yeah.
That ruins the show. That
Yeah.
it should be real.
Yeah.
Should
Yep.
be real.
That things have changed a lot.
I
Yes.
relate to that a lot. I was a friend of on a couple different franchises, and a housewife at one point. But it's it's hard because I would love to be on reality TV, but then I think about the fact that like they can make you look any which way they want, and I was like, oh, I don't want that, because here I can just say whatever I want and I know what's going to come out. But in a
True.
situation like that,
And
that's
you make
tough.
yourself look bad all by yourself.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you.
think we all can. I had a moment. I went out last Monday and I was like, I come home like, oh crap, what did I do? We all have those moments. So
Of
like
course.
some of these girls do this right on TV, They've come around a little bit, but remember when New York first came out? I mean, those girls were out of their ever loving mind. Wasted, falling into bushes. You see it still, but not as much.
Those were
Not
the
as much.
golden days. That was
Those were.
I love a drunk housewife. I love a housewife falling all over the place. I love
Housewives.
Yeah,
You have to be messy.
that's why I watch it. And so it's like now that we're getting like on the new New York, it's like it feels like everyone's sober. I'm like, oh God, I hate sober people.
And they're all very protective of their image. They try to be, and it's like they're acting. Just stop acting, be yourself.
Yeah.
And the show would be so much better,
Yeah.
The only thing I don't think is acting is Ubah. Woo!
Yeah, I think what happens is that these girls now have seen so many seasons of Real Housewives that they're just mimicking what they've seen before and what they think would work for them. They identify with a specific character, and they're not really characters, they're people, and they emulate that. When I did Housewives, my first year was 2011. We didn't even have Instagram.
Yeah.
We just were ourselves.
Right? It was Facebook. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, social media really ruined it a little bit. It did. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it kind of ruined it a little bit for the reality TV.
It
Yeah.
Kim D, now most people who watch Jersey, I mean, we know who you are, but I mean, your shining moment really is the Posh fashion show.
Yes.
It's some of the best moments in Real Housewives history. But how is Posh doing, number one?
Okay, well, I'm semi-retired, which is a good. Okay. I closed Posh during COVID.
Oh my God! Don't tell me that.
It was brutal. No, it broke my heart. It did, but you know what? In retrospect, looking back, it was time.
Okay.
And I still had Posh fashion shows. So this last year, October, I didn't tell anyone. I had a Posh fashion show, and I made the announcement. It was my last one.
Oh.
Now, in a couple years, maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I'm onto different things. It's like really, listen, I did it for so many years.
Yeah.
I mean, 12, 13 years I was doing
I
three.
agree with that.
It's a lot. And I moved on a little bit from it. And it was like, when I can still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But it caused me stress. And at this point in my life, I don't want it. There's enough stress, So.
If you do bring it back, though, I would just like to put my number out there. I would love to walk for you.
You're so cute.
I'm like a size 0 or 2. So
after Ozempic.
Yeah, I need a little bit more of my Ozempic shots, but I'll be ready for that for sure.
My God, I love it. Well, I do have, I do show some men's sweats and tees and things like that. So I have a really cute young kid who has his own line. So we always put the show now, so I'll think about you next time.
Thank you. You know what I could do is if it's sweatpants, I've seen they now have these inserts for guys that give you a bulge. So I could do that just to kind of like help the situation out.
1000%. I'm all about that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So Kim, we want to get your opinion on some things that are happening out in the Bravo world, the pop culture world, and kind of, Anna's The problem is Anna's not that educated. So like, she's not that good of an attorney or anything, but I definitely am. Like I didn't pass the bar, but that's only because I didn't take it. Had I taken it, definitely would have passed.
I feel the same way. I think that I could. Yeah, I feel the same way. So let's rock. I can't wait.
So we want to get your verdicts on some things that are going on. And the first one I have to start with is, are you a Billy Ray Cyrus fan?
Not really. I don't like to say, I'm not really big on country music. And I'm not really, I know. But yeah, I'm not. Listen, but I saw a couple things. He was a little wild. What's going into these viruses?
So he went and performed at the inauguration, and it didn't go so well. He had some technical difficulties, but even after the technical difficulties, they're like trying to get him off stage and the lights are down. He's dancing around. He's making an absolute fool of himself. So his son, Trace, came out and was like, hey, and of course posted on social media, because it's like, and I'm grateful for that. It's like, don't send a text. Don't do a phone call. Do it on Instagram so we can all see it.
Let everyone see it.
Yes, that's how I like my family drama. Okay. And so he said, Dad, I struggled with addiction for a long time, but I'm sober now. And I think that you're probably struggling too. And I want you to get help. And it was probably not the best message for social media, but overall, it was a thoughtful message.
It was sweet. Well, the way what he wrote was sweet. He
unfortunately,
says, I'm afraid that you'll be.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Billy Ray Cyrus responded with legal action and basically said, you better shut the fuck up or you're going to be in big trouble. So here's what I need to know. Who's guilty here? Is Trace Cyrus guilty for putting it on social media, or is Billy Ray Cyrus guilty for just being a piece of shit and still making us listen to Achy Breaky Heart 1,000 years later?
Well, I think any father who does something like that to their son is going to like a legal action against his own son. I don't care what he did on stage. I don't care for you to take legal action against your own son, guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. I don't care about the story. I don't care about why you taking legal action against your own son. You're guilty. And guess what? You better go get help, because he reminded me of the movie A Star Is Born. Remember when Bradley Cooper's all messed up? Yes. That's what he looked like. And he's playing the guitar and acting. So I don't blame the son. The son probably, I'm going to say, just thinking, I don't know the son, might have come to him several times and said to him, Dad, you really got to stop. And he was being ignored. So he probably said after that, when everyone saw for themselves, I'm going to put it on social media and maybe it'll finally get through to him.
Yeah.
And instead the dude, does legal action. So I say stone cold guilty.
And Miley has come out and said they've been estranged for years now. Like, she doesn't have a relationship with her dad. And in Trace's message, he said, like, no one needs her dad. No one needs you there for her. And you're nowhere to be found. And I was like, that's really sad.
That's very sad.
Now, I do want to test your theory for a minute, Kim D. And if, let's say, parents should never bring legal charges against their child. Let's say Trace killed somebody. Do we just kind of sweep it under the rug? I just want to know where the line is.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
This is
for me.
This is the part where
I don't know if I sweep it under the rug. I wouldn't be too happy, but I wouldn't be. I'm not going to turn him in. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You're Luigi Mangione's mom, and you're like, I'm not calling.
I'm not calling. I'm not going to make the call. I can't. I couldn't live with myself. I have one son. You know what I mean? No. Listen, of course, none of us would condone it, but I don't know. It would be very difficult. Be very, very difficult to turn your own child in, or, that's kind of extreme in comparison to doing legal action against.
Right.
Yeah. And you can't do a legal Ace. I understand that you're very well versed in the law.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't bring charges against somebody for killing somebody. Not you. You don't have standing.
Well, I didn't mean that. I just meant like, would you turn your kid in?
You tell on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you tell? And you're saying no.
I don't tell on anybody. I'm like, I'm old fashioned like that. I'm sure they'll let them figure it out for themselves.
I don't want to ask Anna where her line is, because I think it depends on the child, unfortunately, for Anna.
Because you think I like one daughter more than the other?
Yes, a little bit.
You're right about that.
I have a lot of dogs. There's certain dogs I like better than the other ones.
Yeah, the one that treats you
so
better.
different.
I know, but my dogs are my babies.
So
I honestly think I'm very sensitive to anything having to do with mental illness because I'm a little crazy. And
we know.
I think Billy Cyrus is not okay. And I
Yes.
think that his son's message was it wasn't mean. It was actually very kind. And he said that he didn't want him to be in a position where he's gone too soon.
Yeah.
And I feel that he published it, he did it publicly because Billy Ray Cyrus still has fans. If you grew up with Achy Breaky Heart, you remember, and maybe he did it to maybe get the fans to kind
Yeah.
of tell him, hey, we're worried about you. I don't think that it came from a bad
No.
place.
He's
I
crying
think
for
that
help.
he's,
It's his
yeah.
father. Yeah.
But I do think that him filing against his son is unforgivable. Listen, I've seen some unforgivable things lately. I don't know if you guys saw this, unrelated. The woman, I know this is going to get mad because this is kind of so sad, but there's a woman in LA that left her paraplegic cerebral palsy son to burn in the fire
Oh God.
because he
I
told
saw
her,
that. I
go.
saw that.
You saw it. The embers were falling. He said, save yourself. I can't move. And then she goes on and to do a video and she's wearing red lipstick. I left like 7 messages, comments telling her, I don't know how the fuck you have the energy to put on lipstick. You fucking bitch. You were supposed to die with him. Like, I went crazy. What kind of mother? I went crazy. So
Yeah.
this is not the same
That's
thing.
ugly. That's
You
ugly
didn't know
stuff.
about that, Ace?
No, I did not hear that, but I will
Oh.
say too, it's like, you had a little bit of a heads up on that one and you knew you had a child in this situation.
Get him out. Get him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
was horrible.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that pales
Listen,
by comparison.
some of these people said they didn't get any warnings whatsoever. Like a lot of people said that.
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently
Warning
she said it was
whatsoever.
close.
But that still doesn't excuse her behavior. And like Anna says, coming out with red lipstick and disgusting, like, what?
What? She's been taking his disability money for years, I'm sure.
I'm
And now
sure.
she's free of him. And,
Oh,
and
my God.
oh
Yes,
my God,
scary.
I went
That's another
crazy.
scary thought. That's another
Oh
scary.
God, that's
Yeah.
really depressing.
deep
So,
down.
in less depressing news, we have
Yes.
all found Billy Ray Cyrus guilty of being a shitty dad, of making us listen to Achy Breaky Heart for far too long, and for honestly, like, he needs to get a haircut as well. It's gross. It's
He
disgusting.
looks like he needs a shower too.
Yeah.
A shower, a haircut, all of the above.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm going back to A Star Is Born. Bradley Cooper, the way, I was like, oh my God. It really did remind me of when
He did look
was
dirty. He did look dirty because like Chris Stapleton has long hair. And by the way, I love country music. I'm the only Cuban that loves country music. But he looks cool. But he looked dirty. Like he looked like he needed a shower.
Looked like he had not wiped well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. like that there were skid marks.
Yeah.
You know?
There was
no bidet in sight.
I think there was a lot more than that.
Kim D, now, there has been some troubling things happening over in New York with Real Housewives of New York. And we had our season finale. And the entire time that we're on this trip in Puerto Rico, it feels like we're all going to be mad at Ubah. And then at the last minute, the tables completely turn, and now everyone is against Bryn, and it's like Bryn versus Ubah and everyone else.
No one's speaking. They haven't spoke from the finale to the reunion. Now, I haven't watched the reunion yet. I watched the last episode. I saw it all. And I told one of my girls that comes on my panel with me, I'm like, I'm not saying that they didn't have a reason to be upset or whatever. I think Ubah gets insane. Okay, get insane. I don't think I can hang around with somebody who acts like that. Like if you say one little thing, you gotta walk on eggshells. And I think they all kind of overreacted. But now I heard on the reunion, which I'll watch today, okay, that they show all her different lies, Bryn's different lies.
Yikes.
So their reaction was a culmination of all the lies. This is because I'm like, wait a minute, I understand why they would be so upset, but to be acting like this, like they I just thought it was just overreaction on their part. Not that I believe that Bryn had that happen to her. I do believe her.
Yeah.
Do I believe that she told Ubah? I don't really know what anyone knows. We weren't there. Okay. I believe Ubah, but I also believe Bryn. So I'm confused as to how they turned so fast.
Here's my thought is I feel like Bryn did tell Ubah, but because when Bryn came on in her confessional, she immediately was like, I was crying, I was hysterical, and I was telling her all these different things. But if I'm Bryn and I tell that to someone, that whoever you tell, doesn't matter how self-absorbed they are or anything, they're going to come back to that and be like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to talk about this? Yes. And when Ubah didn't do that, that's when she should have known. She never heard it. She
never got it. Like she said, she didn't comprehend it.
She didn't clock it.
Yes.
Yeah, right. That was it. But see, that's what I'm believing. And again, that doesn't, I'm not, so I want to say that Ubah didn't lie about it, and I want to say Bryn didn't lie about it. So why is everybody getting so crazy? I would have said, if I was there, okay, I would have said, listen to Ubah, slow your roll, relax, okay? Because she might have been very upset when she was talking to you, and you might not have got it. And if this did happen to her, which we have to believe her, like everybody just relax and let's just, we either talk about it or we let it go. But they got so like, she's out. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah. We're done with her. We're done with Bryn. Like, how do you know? You weren't there. You weren't on the call.
Yeah.
They weren't on the call. They don't know.
And then Bryn goes and she does this article with Rolling Stones where she talks about it and everything. And, it was a good article. And I felt like it got the point across. Like I felt like it did what it was intended to do.
Right.
But then we see Aaron reply and be like, to say that we are like sisters is not at all true.
Aaron's
and
reply was,
so then
she
it's
felt
like
that the article was doubling down.
Yeah.
And they expected her to apologize for something. And look, I think Bryn is damaged goods. Okay, she has a history of but especially
she's the worst.
Bryn, because I think that she suffered a lot of abuse growing up and a lot of identity issues, being mixed race, and like it. When everybody tells me that she's Black, I don't even see it because. So imagine how confusing that is for a child, and Ubah, ever since she got the billionaire boyfriend, is acting like she is independently wealthy. You know what I mean? You've been with the guy for you've been with the guy for 10 minutes. Let's wait and see.
Correct.
Yeah.
I
so
agree.
I do think it happened to Bryn. She did in the article mention that after she told Ubah, she immediately texted her brother and said, "Oh my God, I told Ubah. Ubah knows." I think it would be great if she could, here in reality court, we're all about evidence. If she could produce those receipts, that would be good. I don't know if that part is true. She does tend to lie a lot, but like you said, we have to believe her. I do believe she was sexually assaulted. And look, you've been in the middle of this when women are screaming at each other. You can't even think straight or listen to what anybody's saying. So
I've been in the middle of violence, like in Jersey, violence, even like at my fashion violence. When two of my fashion shows. So the one where Teresa's chasing after Danielle gets her hair ripped out. Her brand new Manolo boots are broken. She can't walk. She's hiding in the bushes. Let's leave that alone. Now it's my other fashion show. It's full cast. Okay. It's the whole stripper gate. I'm drinking, having a good time. That's what I do. I make sure everybody has a good time. And I'm whisked out by the producers to go outside. Now, when you go out by this restaurant, it's cobblestone. Now, at that point, I used to wear 5-inch heels. I don't do 5-inch heels anymore. Now I do 4.
Me neither.
Right?
Me neither.
Can't do it. I'm afraid. So I'm walking like this. I'm far from wasted. Okay. I've been wasted in my life, but that night I wasn't. Okay. I see this little dude with a cap on screaming and yelling, right? Now you're kind of unfocused. You don't know why you were even out there. When I realize he's talking to me, I'm like, excuse me. And that's when the whole thing, we go at it. So they show bits and pieces of it. Right. And I said, excuse me, you little midget. I play with the big boys. Yeah, I got him good.
You don't have to worry.
I got him good. And let me tell you, and this is no lie, he put his fist up. And
oh, wow.
They cut, and Melissa grabbed his arm. It was like a reflex.
It's just that Joey Gorga has rage issues,
rage, anger,
he needs to control. Yeah.
So, and listen, I would have listened. I'm gonna fight him back because I'm that girl. And so after this, I'm sticking. When you see me like sticking my face in him, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. It's because of what he did.
Yeah.
So of course they cut what he did, and they just show me, guy. And Melissa's like, "No, stop it, Kim, stop it. No, you want to come at me?" Meanwhile, they had the door blocked, so no one could come out. So my son was trying to get out. That would have been a brawl like you've never seen before. So like, it would have been ugly. So I've not only been fighting with people, I almost go to brawls. You know, there was other things that they put, other instances that they put me in also, that they predicted a fight between me and Joe Gorga. And I'm in the car driving there with my mother and a friend. And I get the one producer saying, "Don't worry, Kim." Meanwhile, speaker thing through the car. "Don't worry, what? Don't worry. We got more security." I said, "So, whoa. You're telling me I'm going to fist fight with Joe Gorga?" Like, so there's going to be.
I would pay money for that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay. So I went, they secluded me. I had 2 vodkas and I'm like, I'm ready to roll. Let's go. And then and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Yeah, you know.
I will tell you, my wife and I fall asleep every night to different Housewives episodes from back in the day. And one of my absolute favorites is when Ashley pulls Danielle's hair, and it's the mayhem that ensues. Listen, I know that some people are like, "Oh, I wish I could have been there when Jesus walked on water," or "I wish that I could have been there when I saw, Martin Luther King give his speech." Yeah. I wish that I had been at the country club because just seeing, it's herds of people are moving through these hallways. It was amazing, beautiful. It was amazing.
You can imagine.
Let me tell you, she left a bald spot.
Oh yeah, she got her good. She got her good.
Yeah. That was great television.
It was great. Listen, I loved it. Now, Bethany Frankel and Isaac Mizrahi, when Bethany was going over old episodes, they pulled up Posh Spite, which that was a part of, and they said it was the #1 episode ever of Jersey Housewives. Like
that
the
doesn't
most
shock me.
I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. And she went over the whole episode. It was fabulous. But listen, it wouldn't shock me either because it was insane. It was insane. And I was in the middle of it going, what? Like, I just couldn't believe it. But
it really is. Like, I wish I could have been there for that.
It was fun.
If you ever have another one, besides that Ace would.
I'll be walking.
I would love to have both
a catwalk like nobody's business. But here's something special. He owns 2 reunion dresses.
Yes.
He owns a Daniel Staub dress, and he owns a Sonia Morgan original, both that they wore on reunion. So
I love that.
So I could squeeze into both of them for you if you want me to watch twice.
Listen, we'll put them in. I would love it. We could sell more tickets knowing that.
They're a little bit short, so my balls might hang out the bottom, but I think it's fine. Or I'm going to have to tuck.
Make sure we're groomed. Everything's groomed up. Everything. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, do the Buffalo Bill tuck.
So we are all kind of in agreement here. Like, we don't find Bryn nor Ubah really that guilty. We think that but then I want to put someone else on the stand, the audience, because the audience is saying that now the show has gotten too dark. This was too dark of subject matter to be talking about. And I'm like, but my thought process is that like rape is not something that's easy for people to talk about. So I think the more that we talk about it in whatever context it may be, the easier it makes for people to step forward. So I don't know why that's a problem.
I agree too with that. And like I said, first they're saying how boring it was, how this, now you have a crazy arguments and fights, and now they're complaining. You can't please everyone all the time. You just can't. I like it. I like the passion. I
honestly find the rest of the cast guilty because they are recasting the show, like basically getting rid of a cast member, on their own without anybody saying anything. Mm-hmm. And they've all done it. Aaron with that response or that comment, and Jessel did it recently on an interview. She says that Bryn, that she's done with Bryn, that Bryn came back the second season thinking she was God. Like, they want her out. They've decided stick a fork in her, she's done. Right. And it's like, Andy makes those decisions,
Yeah, listen, I think it's a big mistake. I think she adds enormous, she's very talented, and the way she connives and she does, and that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
They don't want to see boring. They don't,
I want to see her journey. I want to see her journey. I want her to
I
have a
agree.
child. I want her to find love. I want that.
Yeah.
I want to
So
see
we'll
that.
see what Andy's going to say. Here's the thing. Go back to Jersey for a minute. The girls did the same thing. I'm not filming with her. I'm not doing this with him. I'm not doing that. Really? No paycheck. No
So
reunion money.
stupid.
No reunion money. You got a camera up your ass for 3 months and you're making $1 million, 750, 800, and you're going to tell Bravo? No,
Mm-mm.
not
That
going to
was so
happen.
stupid.
And now these girls learn from what happened. Shut your mouth, take your money, and go film. That's it.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't
They
learn.
don't.
That was so
They all
stupid.
get too big for their britches. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Kim D, are you able to tell us how much you made during Housewives as a friend of?
I made 40. Listen, the first time, well, remember, it was a while ago. 40,000 as a
Me
friend.
too.
40,000, and then I got 5,000 for each reunion. And then when they came to my fashion shows, it would get 2,500. They would film my shows. Remember, I was promoting my store.
Yeah.
And I made them all buy tickets,
Good for
whatever.
you.
Made them all buy tickets. So that's kind of the money that I made. The 40,000, 5 for the reunions, and like 2,500 for when they came. When they came to my store, when I was not a paid friend.
Yeah.
Of course, I was that's a free commercial.
Right.
So I didn't open my mouth. But when they were coming to my shows, I was like, you know what? Like I learned. I said, you're going to pay, and they did.
Good. Okay, so moving on to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Kim D, do you watch all the Housewives?
I don't listen. I know who Salt Lake City, the girls are.
Yeah.
I don't really watch that too much, but I listen and I hear and I watch the reels. So I know a little bit about it. I watch Beverly Hills. I watch New York. And I do a lot of hot topics on my show.
Yes.
A lot of hot topics. Like we're following the Blake Lively, Justin Baldini. Oh my God, we're obsessed with it. Obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, we're obsessed with it. So, but I can try to get involved. I can try to help.
So I'm going to tell you right now, like and I feel the same way. Like I've watched Beverly Hills since it started. I feel like I've actually never quit on Housewives ever, but Beverly Hills is so shitty this season. And it's like, we have Real Housewives of Salt Lake City over here.
And tell me I'm missing it.
It is the greatest Housewives of all time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm committed.
So we had our part 1 of the reunion. I'm excited because we're in part 2. We're leading into husbands fighting, which always feels good to me. I love a little testosterone out there fighting.
I saw bits and pieces of Todd.
Yes.
Yeah. Pieces of Todd.
And Andy shedding a tear.
Oh,
have you ever seen
that's
Andy
with Mary?
Yeah.
Reunion? No.
With Mary, with her son, right? Yeah. So I got a glimpse of everything. Yeah. He feels really bad. I've seen Andy get emotional. And I know that I've asked Andy a couple questions about, because when I had Teresa, and I'm like, Teresa, do you realize that you picked Andy up and basically threw him like a rag doll? Because, no one ever asked me that question.
Yeah.
So someone asked Andy and he said, you know what? That didn't make me so mad. I think it was Teresa. It was more when she took his cards away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some crazy shit that goes on in those stages, but I never.
Jersey is really unique in that.
It really is.
Jersey doesn't care. Like they'll do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. My thing with this reunion, the big problem I had with it, and it's really something very specific. When Lisa Barlow was talking about Emmy or whoever it is, the assistant to the jeweler.
Right.
She's looking at her phone, reading text messages.
Okay.
She then gives her phone to Andy, who then acknowledges that these are in fact not great messages. And I believe they passed the phone. Do they pass it to Braunwyn too?
No, but
okay, they didn't. But Andy's supposed to be the arbiter of truth. Okay. One of the easiest things in the world is to get I can say, hey, Ace, text me these things. I'm going to change your name on my phone to say Kim D. And then I'm going to show Andy the things that I've decided Kim D says.
So
I would have looked at the phone number or dialed the number.
Yeah.
To see if that was
with AI now. With AI, you could do anything. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know why nobody does that, because that's what I would have done. And then if it had been the person, it's like, why did you say that or whatever? But I have a feeling I'm not believing. I understand that it's a little iffy with Braunwyn, but I'm not believing Lisa Barlow.
See, I'm believing Lisa, not because I like Lisa or anything. I believe that it did happen. But what pissed me off is that she hands the phone to Andy. He goes through and then she's like, there's even worse messages on there. And it's like, well, then tell us what those are. What are those messages? Like, just put up a screen recording of the text and let me read that.
Yeah. Well, they should do that. They should definitely let everyone read them. Definitely. And like you said, it's so easy to put it up.
Yeah.
Put it up on the screen, like they showed the back.
How do you know that was from that person?
I don't even care if it was from that person or not. I just wanted to read bad. I will literally read somebody's phone. I will read an 80-year-old person's phone messages. I don't care. I just love to see what people are saying. I'm so nosy.
Me too. So am I. I think that's why we do what we do. I love it. And I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, neither are we.
The big fight in part 1 of the reunion is this Lisa versus Braunwyn thing, and whether or not Braunwyn bought jewelry from the jeweler that she had come out to the house when they went on the couples trip.
Yeah, or it was borrowed.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Now, she said the necklace that they brought was $4 million and they didn't need that. So they were commissioning to get something cheaper, smaller made. But then Lisa said that this assistant came in and was like, no, she bought nothing. Nothing was bought. And so Braunwyn kind of gets in this spot where it's like, oh shit, like I didn't buy that stuff. But then on Watch What Happens Live, she goes on and she's like, well, I was commissioning it, but like I hadn't bought it yet.
Yeah, you know what? That's a lot of fibs being thrown around.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is, when you don't lie.
By the way, in the history of Housewives, everyone borrows jewelry.
Of course.
It's a very common thing. And in Miami specifically, every time the other Todd would present Alexia with some Audemars Piguet watch, delivered by her gay best friend, you never saw the watch again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, this is very common.
So, just be honest. Say, do you believe, look what they let me borrow. Oh my God, it's worth $4 million. I would say it that way. Like, that really says a lot about you too, that this jeweler wants to put his $4 million piece on your neck rather than you say, no, I commissioned it. Just, first of all, read the room. People are struggling right now out there. I understand these women are supposed to flaunt. Read the room, read what's going on in the world, and just say, oh my God, am I lucky to be able to wear this necklace? But instead, they all have to, like, a bit of bragging, a bit of, and then they get caught and it makes them look really foolish. Guilty.
Okay. I like that you know exactly how you feel.
Guilty.
I'm going to give her a break because she's a first season housewife. I like her. She's probably seen this before. She probably thought, oh, this is on page 241 of the, housewife, handbook. Okay. And she tried it and she failed, but I'd say I like her on the show. I like her.
I like her too. I do. I like
fashion sense. I like it all.
I like her fashion. Yeah.
I am so here for Braunwyn. And it's funny because when the season started, I was like, I hate this woman. Why is she here? Yeah. And then by the end, I love her. I was in love with Heather Gay for the longest time. And now I hate her. It's up and down all the time.
She don't do it for me. She don't do it for me.
Now, there's a lot of rumors floating around about Miss Karen Huger from Real Housewives of Potomac. She was found guilty of her DUI. And then she did not show up to the reunion and released a statement saying that she had checked into a rehab facility. But now people are saying Miss Huger will not be back next season. What are your thoughts on this, Kim D?
Well, I know different things what happens with Andy Cohen. I heard if you don't show up to a reunion, you are fired.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I had heard. So, and I've seen him do it before, so I don't, number one, she didn't have to, I don't know what the court says or whatever. She's under contract for the reunion. I'm sure they could have postponed. It wasn't like she was going to jail. She was going to rehab. So I think she used that as an excuse. And when you do that, you basically get fired. They don't tolerate that. The reunions are big and there's a lot of money involved in a reunion. That's why when they canceled Jersey, I'm like, there's a big problem. There's a lot of money. Yeah. So I say guilty.
See, the thing with reunions is my wife feels different. My wife is like a season finale girl, but me, I'm a 4-part reunion girly. I love a reunion. I'll watch a reunion of a show I've never even watched before.
Me too.
I used to watch all of Shaws of Sunset's reunions. I'm like, I have no idea who these people are, but they're going to fight, and I'm here for that.
The shit
They're
that
coming
comes
back.
out in a reunion is great.
It's always
great.
good.
Yeah, because now they saw all the things they said about each other.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really good, because they watch the season. They're like, that bitch Anna said this, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, and so they come to play. They come to play. So it's good. I enjoy them too.
I love a reunion.
Me too.
Now, Anna, what are your thoughts on Miss Huger?
You know, at first I defended her because I hadn't really seen the video. After seeing the video, she could have waited an extra day or two to go to the rehab and actually announced it there. Like, I'm going directly from here to rehab and meet her obligation. So yeah, guilty. And if they don't bring her back, they don't bring her back,
Yeah. It's because they can't tolerate this kind of stuff. They can't tolerate,
They could have gotten footage of her driving off in the black car, leaving, and then it's like she's going to rehab.
Yes.
And
exactly.
The thing that I think a lot of housewives don't understand, and I wanna work with some housewives on this, is like, we actually really appreciate when you'll just own, as Lisa Rinna would say, when you own it. Like, if you could just come in and say, like, you know what? I fucked up. And don't give us this excuse that Mother's Day was coming up in 6 months, Don't just be like, you know what? I'm so embarrassed with my behavior. I am committed to bettering myself, and let the other women, because I will tell you who did this right. Shannon fucking Beador. Because I was hating Shannon for seasons and seasons. I could not stand her. And then this season was supposed to be the Shannon just crumbling, falling apart. But she rose like a phoenix.
Because she told the truth.
Yes.
She told the truth, and she owned it. She was like, I'm mortified. I'm embarrassed. She's mortified. She should be.
And people felt bad for her.
Identify.
Yeah. Like, I'm so against drinking and driving, but like, to see Shannon come out of this and like just get shit on by Alexis and John Jansen, it was like, I feel like everyone in the Housewives world was like, we're here for Shannon. And that's how you do it.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. That was very, very, very good on her part, because now Alexis and John Jansen are a distant memory.
Yeah, no one cares.
He was brutal. It's not bad enough you're screwing the boyfriend that she was with, but now you got to shove it in her face. Like, who acts like that? Who does that? This is crazy.
Terrible.